don't understand why I feel so anxious all the time. You'd think at my age, with all the experience I have and all the life I've lived, that I would feel far more confident in everything I do. This is what one woman said to me last week. And it's not an uncommon thing for women to feel like this. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Unburdened Woman. So many women I talk to who are in, I guess, the middle phase of their life. They're perimenopausal, they're menopausal, they're postmenopausal. Some of the women I speak to have retired. And the underlying theme in their life seems to be this low-level anxiety that they can't quite put a finger on. They don't know why they feel it. The things they used to do and take for granted now cause them to feel anxious. They worry about things that they would never have worried about before. And they worry about that too. I have worked a lot on my own feelings of anxiety, and I have helped other women with their feelings of anxiety as well. And I've done a lot of research around the subject. And I am not medically qualified in any way, but as I said, I have done a lot of research. And it seems that when we reach a certain age of life, our hormones are all over the place. And then they kind of drop off and disappear altogether, it seems. So hormones like estrogen, progesterone, also your thyroid can go out of whack. Insulin can go out of whack as well, because estrogen and insulin are linked. And when any of these are lacking, cortisol can rise. Now you might want to check out the medical facts here. But that's my understanding, that when our hormones are out of whack or out of balance, our cortisol levels can rise. And if you are not sleeping well at night, you are waking up in the morning with higher level cortisols than you would have been had you slept well. And therefore you're starting off at a higher level of stress in your body. And that peaks in the morning and as you go throughout your day. So there are physiological reasons for the anxiety that you feel. We like to think that, we're often told that it's all in our mind. It's not. There are actual physical, biological reasons for why you often feel anxious. And one of the things that, these imbalances in hormones can do, or the drop away of hormones, is they can create palpitations or irregular heartbeats, which can then feed into the anxiety as well. That doesn't mean there's anything really wrong with your heart. I don't understand how it all works, really. I'm still looking into that. But the thing with anxiety and the anxious thoughts is that our brain kind of latches onto them and then takes us round in circles. And so we live with this underlying low-level anxiety. It's not enough to actually stop you living your life or to stop you doing the things that you want to do quite often. But it's just there. You just feel it, slightly less confident than you were in previous years. And I've known a couple of women who have fallen over, and that really impacts their confidence and their anxiety as well, and they worry about that and they get trapped in that loop. I know women who live alone and they don't want to impose on their children. So we don't talk about this stuff. We don't talk enough about this stuff. And so we can often feel that we are on our own, that we're the only one that wakes up with this feeling of anxiety, that we don't know where it's come from and we don't know why we have it, and we kind of feel like it's impacting our life. So the first thing we need to do is actually be open about it. Open about it with yourself, first of all. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge that it's there. Yes, you feel anxious. And no berating or judging or criticizing yourself for that. It's a feeling. Like any other feeling. You don't question when you're happy or excited. You just accept it and you go with it. So with the anxiety you're feeling, if we can just accept it. And what worked for me was, and still works for me, because I still get these waves of anxiety. I think they're probably going to be lifelong. I'm hoping not, though. But I find when I actually sit with the feelings, not questioning them, not going around in circles asking where they've come from or what's triggered this bout of anxiety or whatever. When I actually sit with the feelings, when I sit with what's in my body, how my body's feeling. So where do I feel tightness? What do I notice? I notice my heart is racing. I notice my breath feels shallow. I notice tension in my stomach and my jaw and my shoulders. And I just sit with that and I notice. And then I allow myself to plant my feet firmly on the floor and feel the ground beneath me. And that gives me some sort of sense of safety, of being held. And then I can allow myself to feel somewhere in my body that's relaxed. So maybe my thighs feel relaxed, or my hands in my lap feel relaxed. And I can allow that sensation to spread to other parts of my body. And sometimes that doesn't work either. Sometimes I just feel too anxious for that. And what I found helps sometimes in those times is to actually speak to somebody else. And that is something that I find a lot of women don't want to do. They feel somehow ashamed or embarrassed that they feel this anxiety, when there can be physical, biological reasons for it. And sometimes a visit to the GP is necessary to get your bloods checked, your hormones checked, whatever. There are medications that can help, HRT, for example. Some antidepressants can help with anxiety. Maybe some talking therapy like CBT can help. Sometimes we just need to know that we're not alone, and that can help. So I'm telling you today, you're not alone. And you don't have to allow it to rule your life. One of the best ways of actually getting over this is, or not getting over so much as getting through. And I don't mean fighting your way through it, but still living your life, is acknowledging the anxiety, allowing yourself to move with it, to live with it, but also talking about it to other women, to your friends, maybe online in groups, because you are not alone. And just feeling, that knowing that you're not alone is powerful. It can help that feeling of anxiety dissipate. Because when we feel we're alone in something, that can exacerbate the feeling. And you get into a cycle of thinking and thoughts, and again, maybe that shame or embarrassment comes up about how you're feeling. But I'm going to repeat myself here. There are physical and biological reasons for a lot of the anxiety you feel. And also we live in a very, very fast-paced world where everything's going a million miles an hour and we feel like we have to keep up. We are bombarded with news. Everywhere you look, there's bad news. That doesn't help. And we have reached an age in life where actually we're supposed to be slowing down. When you're coming into perimenopause, or whether you're menopausal or postmenopause, your childbearing and rearing years are over. You're not here to chase around after young ones anymore. You're the bearers of wisdom. You have wisdom and experience to pass on. This is why we've been given a break from the childbearing, why we go through this phase, this menopause, because we're here to support the younger generations, but not in the same physical capacity as we would be able to if we were in our 20s or 30s or whatever. And a lot of the anxiety, I find in the women I speak to, a lot of the anxiety comes from them pushing themselves to do too much, to be everything to everyone. And because they've spent so many years doing that, they've forgotten kind of who they are and they've forgotten their own needs. And now is the time to reclaim those needs. To start looking after yourself, start giving yourself the care that you need. Because when you're really looking after yourself, that anxiety does lessen. If this resonated with you in any way, if you are feeling alone in this, please do get in contact. Let's support each other.